whoever. I mean, it's tough when your show, the two main characters are voiced by the same person.
Yeah.
And then that person gets canceled.
Yeah.
Then what do you do?
Yeah.
But good for them that they kept it going.
Absolutely.
And Dan Harmon and other people had said that for the last few years, Justin Roiland hadn't really been contributing that much to the show.
That's what I heard.
Mostly like the shit and dick jokes that pop up every so often. Like the show is really smart, like really, really smart, but you get immature sometimes. It's a good balance. But sometimes there's a joke that's in there, and you're like, come on, man, you're better than this.
Yeah.
We're going to be at the Broadway Comedy Club again.
The show created by the one and only Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon. Have you seen the new Rick and Morty?
Mm-mm.
All right, and you have seen it?
I have seen it. Do you watch it at all? Okay.
Maybe watch a single episode of Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, it might be too late now. To be honest, it's something that I think people are pretty mixed on. But let's take a look at this trailer, and then we can just have a quick little discussion.
Sure,
I thought
sure.
about the first episode.
Okay.
That not a whole lot there, but I think there's something worth mentioning.
What do you say, Rick? To fly through space?
Man, I just noticed there real quick they had that iced tea again running. Did you see that? No.
Yeah.
So silly.
Come upon something? Maybe I have a moral objection? Rick and Morty, we're back, baby!
The show is back, and as a lot of people know, there's been a little bit of controversy around Rick and Morty, around the whole. One of the creators, voice actors, is kind of a scumbag, if you will, or accused of being a scumbag. And there's a lot of stuff going on. And either way, the guy ended up getting recasted. But it was they were saying, look, he's not going to be working anymore. But this whole Rick and Morty thing, we're not done with this. This is going to keep going. And honestly, I think they should keep going.
Hell yeah, they should.
I really was I was impressed, to be honest. I think that they've gone on for a long time with Rick and Morty, and they've done a lot of stuff, and the characters are such a crucial part, like Rick and Morty. They're such a big part of this series, and I was worried when they announced, that they were changing the voice actor and all this stuff was going on with them. I was like, is it really going to be able to retain, that Rick and Morty-ism that we love so much? And for the most part, I think I'll just let that cat out of the bag and say yes. I really think that they found a way to almost like evolve it without bringing attention to it too much.
Yeah. Whoever. I mean, it's tough when your show, the two main characters are voiced by the same person.
Yeah.
And then that person gets canceled.
Yeah.
Then what do you do?
Yeah.
But good for them that they kept it going.
Absolutely.
And Dan Harmon and other people had said that for the last few years, Justin Roiland hadn't really been contributing that much to the show.
That's what I heard.
Mostly like the shit and dick jokes that pop up every so often. Like the show is really smart, like really, really smart, but you get immature sometimes. It's a good balance. But sometimes there's a joke that's in there, and you're like, come on, man, you're better than this.
Yeah, that was the one thing that had me worried, because I used to really admire Justin Roiland's style of comedy, because it was so offbeat and bizarre, and his deliveries were so unique with that character. And I thought, man, even though he wasn't in the writer's room, he would always improvise. I knew it. Just hearing the way that he would say things. And I thought, man, I feel like they're kind of going to lose something. But after watching this first episode, I was like, all right. I think that having less focus on Rick and Morty, it's all right. And they have this nice emphasis, I think, on what stood out to me as just like physical comedy.
Yeah, well, after all these years, they built up a pretty big cast of side characters and mythology they constantly go back to. And that's not even just this episode. They've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Starting this one, it felt like a little something was missing. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Like it was a little bit more subdued. And I realized, okay, it's a different actor doing the voices.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's I mean, like if you're not thinking about it, you don't even know.
I found it noticeable. It stood out to me.
I did find it noticeable. There's a certain zing that Justin Roiland had because him being one of the creators and doing it so long. So with this new person, I didn't even look up the name, new guy, you know, I mean, at first it's going to be just the struggle to make it sound the same. So you know, maybe he can't focus so much on trying to put something extra in it. But I will say by the time halfway through the episode, I stopped noticing it at all.
But one more thing that we haven't mentioned yet is that there's also other characters that he voiced, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And there's a whole roster of them, and it's almost like they were like, hold on, we know that he has a lot of characters here that you love. Let us show you that they're in good hands. And it almost felt like it was being self-aware that there was a big change happening. And maybe it was just a happy coincidence, but I gotta tell you, I was really impressed with how much I was laughing, and most of it wasn't even from these two characters. It was, you know, classic characters like Mr. Poopy Butthole, you know, which sounds like I'm just saying nonsense if you haven't seen the show. But really, like that character, they set him up and gave him an arc, and Bird Person and Gearhead, I think is his name. But there was a lot of stuff where they emphasized the animation, and they kept it moving fast. And like I said, I just thought that the physical comedy stood out to me, and there was images of stuff that was making me laugh, and it kind of harkened back to that classic Rick and Morty style of just taking stuff from pop culture and throwing it in.
Yeah, because if you go back and look at the first season, the show wasn't as frenetic as it is now, or it had become. It's and it's a feeling sort of like that, like okay. Not going as crazy, but still a lot of things we enjoy. The double and triple crosses that happen. That's probably what I enjoyed the most. The idea that, oh, we need to throw you an intervention. Oh, it's my birthday. Oh, shit, it's your birthday. Well, we got to take it like it's your birthday. And then like, wait, it wasn't your birthday. No, I knew you were going to throw an intervention for me. That's why I said that.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff like that. And you mentioned like the early seasons. Man, what they did with like even back in the day, like the way that they would slip in RoboCop in there. Yeah. You know, like when Morty finds a sex doll in outer space, and then guess what he becomes obsessed with. And in this one, I really enjoyed, and I guess slight spoilers for episode 1 if you're sensitive to that, but the way that they use the Predator in this, I thought was, this is what Rick and Morty's all about. But at the same time, it made me think, and I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on this, but it made me think, man, is Rick and Morty more like Family Guy than I remember it being? Because it felt like kind of scatterbrain in the way where I didn't remember Rick and Morty having so many cutaways and stuff like that. But maybe it's just because I've taken a break from it.
So it is like Family Guy, and it has been for a while with the cutaways. But Family Guy does a cutaway for a gag and then comes back to the story. Rick and Morty will do that cutaway for a gag, and that becomes a big part of the story.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just like, oh, well, you missed this key point that's going to come into play in the story later.
Like, I mean, they'll, like, as far as what Family Guy does, Rick will mention it as an aside. Rather than just showing the whole thing. It's just like almost mumbling under his breath. Oh, yeah, that time that blah, blah, blah. We don't cut away to see it. It's just him mentioning it, and then we move right on.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think we have like that much more to really say about it. The episodes are pretty short, but it was, I have more confidence in it now than I did before just hearing about it.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't terribly worried. It was just, it was all about getting somebody who's a good, vocal replacement. And even if they weren't, we're used to TV shows where an actor gets replaced, and or even movies. With Don Cheadle, right? In Iron Man 2. That was a big extreme, but yes, it took no time for everybody to go like, oh, okay, I was thinking more of Dumbledore in the Harry Potter series.
Oh, yeah,
that's a change I never noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I would never have thought of that because I'm not a big fan of kids running around in bathrobes with sticks yelling in Latin. It never worked for me.
Well, faux Latin, but
it always just sounded funny to me to describe it like that. But what about you guys in the chat? How do people feel about this this new season of Rick and Morty so far? I'm sure that people are liking it for the most part, because I think the show has fluctuated in quality over the years. Like, not all the stuff has always hit, but there's always been like some decent moments in it.
Yeah.
Always. But let me see here. Let's see what the chat is saying. Oh, am I not? Yeah, you hadn't seen that. Can't say dropped after season 3. I like it. Anyone watch the new Frasier? So I take it that people are. Some people don't care too much for Rick and Morty. They care more for Frasier. Don't know much about that, but thank you for your input.